So I leave midnight Wednesday, next Wednesday. And then I come back.
A week from this week.
Yeah,
a
he's
week from
gone
this
for
week.
Alabama.
That's right, gone
I've
for
told
Alabama.
you a million times.
For some reason in my head I had you gone
Yeah.
middle of
Should
this
have
week.
been this weekend. There's no, Georgia on. Not this weekend.
Seriously, what is Clemson? Is Clemson even playing this weekend?
Does Clemson even have a football team? Can we start your podcast?
Here we are, Abe Cast Iron Balls, a podcast about sports. My name is Bob, sitting across the way from my good friend and co-host. That's Abe. How you doing tonight, Abe?
Doing well, Bob.
Yeah, here we are. Lori's here too. How you doing tonight, Lori?
I would feel worse, but we just brought up Abe's Clemson friends, so I feel good again.
Lori is very excited to get started on a full Monday evening jam-packed with news, culture, and sports talk. It's what she lives for. Abe, you have a good weekend?
I did.
I should say tonight is Monday. It's
Yes.
the 15th of September. We'll get to live bets. Not crucial that we get to live bets the games just yet because there's a Monday doubleheader.
A
So,
double header, yeah. That's right.
Except
go ahead. And,
this is the game where both quarterbacks lost to Georgia in a bowl game.
Oh, is that right?
which is the
The
game?
game on right now.
Maker Bayfield and C.J. Stroud. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, look at that.
I
Yeah.
know.
But look, we're not live betting that game because that game has already it's well underway, 14-10, and I don't want Abe betting on a game that's already underway. If we can avoid it, there is a later Monday. But we'll get back to that. Abe,
Yeah.
how was your weekend?
Great weekend for the first time since 2009. Not to make everything about the Colts, but first time since 2009. 16 years, the Colts are 2-0. So can't complain there.
Yay!
And all they needed was a New York Football Giants cast-off
Yes.
to make it happen.
That's right, and a lucky penalty at the very end. But so I think last week I mentioned that I was gonna try to find a way to watch in person the Georgia Tech Clemson game that was in town on Saturday. I go there. This was a noon kickoff, so they had the pregame festivities start pretty early, 9:30 in the morning. Flo Rida, we do the Billboard show. I don't think Flo Rida has been on any of our episodes, but
No, but I think about him every night.
We've talked about him extensively.
okay. So he's doing his Flo Rida thing that 9:45 a.m. It's just very weird. He's talking about whatever. He didn't have enough.
Just
Boots with the fur?
Just
Yes.
how crunk can you get
That's right.
at 9:30 in the morning?
And this was all the Georgia Tech fans and a few Clemson types there, but you have the college age kids, you have the old alumni people, you have people bringing their children, and there's Flo Rida singing his music.
I feel like Flo Rida is who could bring those kinds of people
Yes,
together.
he because the fans were into it. They were I guess they knew some of the songs. He did not have enough music to fill the 75-minute slot that he had. So he started.
That's a big slot for Flo Rida.
So he had to fluff it up with
How many times can you play low?
he had to
Timber.
fluff it up with some covers of some other rap songs. I was like, I don't think this is his. He would just start singing some song that's not his, but whatever. And then at the end, after they had these I don't know what the official term is, but these two booty shaking dancers. They would just kind of just show up. And
Listen to Abe try not to say hose. Listen, what a good, upstanding young man you are.
Abe is the ultimate feminist.
they're performers. What are you talking about, Bob? Anyways, they're putting on the show, and then at the end, this Flo Rida gets on the mic. It's none of this would be possible without Jesus Christ. You need Jesus in your life.
All right.
And I was like, all right.
Where's the lie?
Mr. Flo Rida, would the boots with the fur be possible without Jesus
No.
Christ?
Also, we talked earlier, I think it was last week, about who would want just people who are elbowing each other for a foul ball, or somebody's sweaty shirt or whatever, some athlete just throws it. Flo Rida was making a big show about how he was going to throw his shoes at the people. They were clamoring for one of his shoes. He was doing it one at a time. So you weren't going to get a pair of Flo Rida shoes. You were going to get one shoe. And yet people were still into it.
Imagine being a person from the Middle East for whom the throwing of a shoe is among the
right.
worst insults
That's right.
that you can bestow upon another
true.
human being.
Yeah, apparently that didn't travel over here. Anyways, this young girl, not college age young, like 12 years old young, she catches one of the, I don't know if it was the left one or the right one, and she is so happy. She's getting high fives from everybody, not just her circle of like family and whatever, like just random people like congratulating her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, once this all dies down, what are you going to do with this one shoe? I just don't understand. It just felt like very bizarre watching this from a distance. I wasn't judging. I'm just observing. Like, what are you doing with this shoe?
What's the end of the story here? You went to a Flo Rida concert
So I go to the
at
Flo
9:30
Rida
in the
concert,
morning.
and I'm, monitoring the prices online, and they don't budge. There's no budging. So I was like, I guess I'm going to watch
Stubbornly high at what number?
$110
To just get in the door price.
to get in. Yeah, just to get in. And I was like,
to be clear, this is at Tech's home field.
yes,
This is
yeah.
what is the name of that dump?
So-
Mark Richt
Dodd's-
Field at
yeah,
Bobby
Mark
Dodd
Richt
Stadium.
Field at Bobby Dodd
Also,
Stadium.
by the way, when did the branding wasn't it Grant Field or some other thing? It's now Hyundai Field.
Mark Richt Field.
That's Mark Richt Field.
Yes, but like I think they used to have an actual name attached to it.
Yeah, I think it's historic Grant Field. or
Yeah,
something
and
like
now
that.
like it's Hyundai. Like I don't know what it just
That's.
seems.
I mean, it's going to happen to all of them.
Yeah, it seemed like that.
Do you
yeah.
think that was part of the deal that Brian Kemp made when he brought those the South Korean battery plant to Georgia? It's like also you can rename our historic Grant Field after this fucking second-rate car company.
Right, like they don't care, because I think if it was another school, they would budge. Like, hell no, you can't change that. That's like a historical blah blah blah. But anyways, and it was like a couple of miles from where I live, so I was like, I'll just go back home and watch this on television. And so
Yeah, that was probably the right move.
yeah, it was the right move. Although it was an entertaining game, the field goal at the end and the fans stormed the field.
It's a fun game.
Which you always seem to judge, Bob. Like, what's your issue with the kids having fun? Just getting on the field and celebrating. I know it's
Oh no! It is a shameful and embarrassing act.
I think you're too extreme.
It is humiliating to be the fan base that storms the field. This is Clemson.
Clemson has dominated the ACC for a long while, right?
They hadn't beaten Clemson in like 10 years or something.
Clemson, who had like 3 losses last year, who snuck into the playoff, undeservingly so, and was roundly trounced out upon sneaking in. Clemson, who had just lost a game already this season.
Yeah.
Right?
To LSU.
Right. But
To
it was
LSU.
to a good team, yeah.
Not exactly coming in unblemished.
Right.
And who everyone knew that this was going to be a close sort of game.
Right.
Right? Like this is a game that opened at a certain number,
Right.
as documented on this important podcast, and closed at a much tighter number because everyone thought, hey, I think Tech might actually do this thing.
Right. And the highly touted ESPN Predictometer gave the edge to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, as I heard on the highly respected and constantly venerated podcast, The Biffler, of which I have only positive things to say.
That's right. So let me ask you something. If your favorite Tennessee head coach did not ice his own kicker and that kid made that
man.
kick.
I knew it as soon as he did it.
Like
I think I said in the group chat, he is coaching this team to death right now.
right.
And then the kid shanks it. I called it.
Who was? What are you talking?
What's the kid's name? Gilbert?
Fucking Mr. No Veggies,
Yeah.
Josh Heupel.
Yeah, Heupel.
Okay.
Because it took so long.
Hasn't walked through a produce section since
All right,
he
but
was
we were
9
talking
years
about a
old.
different game
There was
just
a great trauma inflicted upon him in a produce section. He doesn't like to talk about it.
You think he's got PTSD over like carrots?
Yes.
Laura,
How else to explain how a 40-something-year-old man could have only eaten Little Debbie? in the previous 35 years.
Laura, the reason why I brought that up because I was going to pose a question to Bob. Had that not happened, if the coach for Tennessee did the right thing and the kid wasn't traumatized by waiting forever, and he hit it, and the 8-year drought ends, like in the Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
balls,
they would have stormed the field.
Yeah,
the Tennessee faithful would have definitely stormed
Ole Miss
the field.
did it.
Yeah,
And it would have been humiliating for them.
even if it was a 8-year drought, like there's no circumstance.
Because it's been 8 years, right? It only reinforces how thoroughly they have been owned.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Over the course of the previous near decade. It is completely unacceptable for a self-respecting fan base to storm the field. And I understand Georgia Tech is not a self-respecting fan
That's
base,
the thing.
right? So it's hard to say that it's humiliating when you exist in a constant state of abject humiliation.
There you go.
But still, I felt no small amount of secondary embarrassment, vicarious embarrassment, watching them do that. You carried off the goalposts because you beat a mediocre Clemson team at home in a game that you probably got outplayed, right? That you say there's no such thing as deserved to win or lose, as I'm sure we'll talk about in the Georgia-Tennessee tilt. But you if there was, you probably deserved to lose that game. And you're carrying off the goalposts. And I saw a thing. I don't know if this is true. Did they carry it across campus and dump it in the president's pool at the
that's
mansion?
what they do now. They throw them in water.
Yeah, that's what happened, and they were fined $50,000 for it.
Yeah.
To some account.
I know that we're getting 2 weeks ahead of ourselves now. If Georgia beats Alabama at home in 2 weeks, I will feel entirely humiliated as a fan of the Georgia Bulldogs football program.
I will too.
If we storm the field.
Right.
It's different. We're not Georgia Tech.
Yeah, although, I mean, it could happen. You can't rule that out.
You can't rule it out. I think that if my Twitter is any indication, it is frowned upon.
Yeah. But it didn't take much for the contagion to take hold,
know.
right?
Kids
It
these
needs
days.
to be made known to Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs staff, and then through him to the fans, that this would be a ridiculous thing for the Georgia Bulldogs fan base to do. In part because we can break an important or set an important mark in the sand. We can plant a new flag in the ground because the last time that Alabama lost a game on the road and the fans did not storm the field was like
It was 2010, I think.
LSU in 2010.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think it was before that. I think that was the first one.
Okay, so maybe 2008 or something?
Who knows?
2007?
It's but this is a conversation to be had another time.
It's important to get it out there into the bloodstream.
Yes, but that's not. This is not how to do
of the
that.
Georgia fan base. Absolutely, it is. We're putting it out there into the zeitgeist. This will travel beyond the normal bounds of our dedicated but admittedly limited listenership.
Yeah, they already know.
And it will reach escape velocity and get into the heads of Georgia people, and so that when we beat Alabama in 2 weeks, we do not do the humiliating thing and storm the field.
You would, if in a hypothetical, like, hey, Georgia gets the win on the condition that they debase themselves by storming the field, you would not accept that win? Like, you would rather they...
No, I will take the W because I'm not an idiot.
Yes.
Blame the youth.
Yes.
And I will be perfectly comfortable sitting in superior judgment of the rest of the Georgia fan base. And yes, of course, I will blame the rabble,
Take the
the
win.
youthful rabble. Anyway, that's getting way ahead of ourselves. It was, as suggested, a rather fun Saturday of college football, perhaps
Great.
underrated even by yours truly in my casual dismissal of the potential for fun action.
Right.
I think you just kind of reject the concept of fun.
I do?
Yeah, like you look at it and you're like, I think you forget.
I think I just missed that the evening was actually quite stocked with games and that the quad box proved not just necessary but but wildly entertaining
But
as the evening
I think
wore
you
on.
forget.
Early in the day, I was right. Like you had from segment to segment a good game and then another good game, right. But then you got into that late window, 7, 8 o'clock.
I think you forget and underestimate how random this all is and how fun it can be. Like, those could have easily been blowouts. They just weren't. And you have to watch to find out.
Yeah, and the games were largely fun. I don't know if there's anything else to say about the first one of the day that was fun, the Tech and Clemson game. I had fun on Friday night when Indiana beat Indiana State 73 to nothing. As I said to Lori, I chose the Indiana quarterback and quarterback room because I knew that low character coach of theirs at Indiana has zero compunction about dumping all over inferior competition.
It is. Bob finally took the lead in our quarterback game.
Look at that.
5 touchdowns for one of my Mendozas in that Indiana quarterback room.
You know, in future versions of this fantasy quarterback thing, it'll just be a bunch of quarterbacks from schools like this. Like, instead of like...
It was idiotic of me to go any other way.
Right, yeah, because basically, like, who cares about the LSU quarterback or the South Carolina quarterback?
You just find the most thirsty dirtbags out there in the college coaching ranks. And that guy whose name is escaping me because of...
Signetti?
Yeah, Signetti. My broken brain is among the thirstiest dirtbags out there. So that was fun. Let's see. Ohio State had no troubles. Penn State had no troubles.
Did
anyone.
Arch get booed? One of my friends sent me a text saying that there was...
Arch threw 10 consecutive incomplete passes.
Whew.
Is it... first major question of the show, Abe, does Arch Manning, is he actually kind of bad at football?
He's taken after his uncle Peyton. He seems to, I don't, you know, like Ohio State, you can chalk off like, okay, you know, opening game against a very good team. They just won the title. It's okay if you don't have the greatest game, right? But like if you're, what was it, UTEP? Who were they playing? Some no-name team?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're throwing 10 incompletions in a row against a bad team, then how good are you really? This is not like jitters.
Now, they still scored 27 points. They won 27-10 comfortably, a comfortable win.
27.
This would be, what would we be even having this conversation, does Arch suck, if they had won that game? Because like their defense was really good against Ohio State. Ohio State didn't look great against Texas. They just happened to win a well-competed game. If instead Texas is 3-0 with a hard-fought win against Ohio, a defensive struggle, hard-fought win against Ohio State, and a couple of mediocre performances against lesser competition, we're probably not even. You're sort of gesturing like, well, maybe the Heisman stuff was out of control, but we barely even got the season rolling here. Why are we even talking about this?
Perhaps, but you know, like Alabama after their opening game loss, you know, they put up a bunch of points the previous week, and then they had a pretty good game against Wisconsin this past weekend. They seem to kind of be riding the ship somewhat. Like with Texas, it seems like there are still questions at the quarterback spot. Like if he's still struggling, you know, 3 weeks into this, like he's going to continue to struggle the rest of the way. You know, maybe it's too early to say this, but like it's concerning that he's not playing that well against teams like UTEP.
Yeah.
And another quarterback with issues, that Florida quarterback.
5.
What's worse, 10 straight incompletions with 1 pick thrown in among those 10, or throwing 5 picks?
I think 5 picks.
The next morning I was in the other room getting breakfast together on Sunday morning, and threw the news on, and I hear from the living room.
Calvin likes to watch college football final.
Calvin was watching college football final. I was getting breakfast together, and I hear an exclamation from the other room. Lagway threw 3 picks, and I was like, "Just keep watching." He was flummoxed that DJ Lagway had thrown 3 interceptions. There was still much more to come.
Yeah, and some of those were bad. He threw like, what was it, pick 6, one of them? Like, you know, like Florida was kind of hanging with him, and then he just kept on throwing the ball away.
Well,
How-
we didn't watch too much of that game because the other games were very exciting, but LSU wasn't playing great either.
Yeah.
No,
That's, yeah.
LSU sucked. And I mean, how in the world do you only win that game by 2 scores, by 20-10, when the opposing quarterback throws you 5 interceptions?
Right.
Like, I don't know how the advanced maths on like expected win values or whatever.
I mean,
but,
we threw 3 picks against Texas last year.
like, if you take away the 5 picks, LSU's like expected win should have been like.
Yeah, right?
Like, I mean,
yeah.
like you have to imagine each pick is worth what, 3.5 points
Yeah.
or something like that.
Right.
Not capitalizing on turnovers.
Yeah, because I think
brutal.
they scored a touchdown on. So if you remove that, then it's like a 3-point game. It's remarkable that it didn't pull away. During the, I watched the game more in full the next day. There was like mention of Rex Grossman. Like, this is the last time quarterback threw this many picks for, was Rex Grossman back in such and such year. Like, it's been that long since somebody threw like 4+ picks.
I think LSU only got 10 first downs or something.
Speaking of, let's play a clip here from Brian Kelly's press conference
King of cranky pants.
after this game. Of course, LSU does ultimately get the win, but the media, as usual, did not cooperate with the message that Brian Kelly hoped to communicate.
Back. I know you love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. What do you want me to tell you? I just laid it out for you. We played the game to win the game. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's ridiculous questions. And I'm getting tired of it. That football team just worked their tail off to get an SEC win, and you want to know what's wrong. You know what? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. This team is 17-1 at night. 17-1. Give them some respect. How about that? Give them some respect instead of micro-analyzing every little thing. This is ridiculous. For a group of seasoned reporters, that kind of question is so out of line.
Just makes me so grateful to have Kirby Smart because he's so wonderful all the time.
How is he flying off the handle over just like how many press conferences has this guy done? Like, what is going on?
The reporter said he just didn't like that it was the first question.
Oh, you got to build up to it? Like, they got to, like, tell him, like, oh, you are so great. What
and
resilience.
He has since apologized.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Not the reporter,
Yeah.
the coach.
Yeah, it just seemed like, wow, they must have some history, like him and that guy. Like,
I mean, the fact that the question opens with, boy, I know you love these immediate post-game pressers, but what's up with the offense? And, like, he's immediately at 100 miles an hour.
he is so triggered by that. Do you think that...
Like, what question does he want?
Right.
Is what I want to know.
Right.
And the question that he wants is, boy, Brian, your erection sure was proud and standing tall tonight. What do you think you and the boys did to get this thing off in the right direction? Like, congratulations on thoroughly humiliating the Florida Gators. Please expound upon that. That's
like, if it were state media, like, asking the question, like, what would he want? Like, tell us about, like, what does it say about your team that you're able to gut out a win when the other quarterback threw 5 picks? Like, what do you want him to say? I don't understand.
He wants you to read directly from the media guide, as he just did, about 17-1 in night games. Like, it's so fucking sanctimonious when he starts in on the have a little respect for the boys.
Yeah.
And I think he thinks that he's like winning back the locker room with this sort of talk. What's really frustrating to me, and in part it is in light of everything else that's going on in the world, and I will try not to let that color my reaction to Brian Kelly here. But you'll recall last year, I think, I got off on this idea that all of these college coaches, or a lot of these public figures in various domains, including college football coaches and professional football coaches, are talking about how they are victims of everything that's going on around them. That like somehow Trump has given the fact that Trump is both the world's perfect victim and also the most powerful man in the history of the world, according to his supporters, right? Like he is both of those things to them in from one breath to the next. He is the most aggrieved and most victimized person in the history of the world, and also the greatest wielder of power and influence of anyone who's ever walked the face of the earth, right? This is the mindset of Brian Kelly here, which is the constant victim of everyone around him, even as he does these great things for everyone.
Right.
And then further, to blame it on the media, right? Because it's just the easiest thing to do in order to get the LSU fan base, who should be furious at Brian Kelly, because he's a very expensive coach who's not done anything for them in terms of taking them to the next level. Literally, a rabid lunatic like Ed Ogeron or Les Miles can win national titles for LSU, right? Like you come in at 9-3. Right? 9-3 is the fucking baseline here.
Yeah.
Right? You should be able to recruit, because of all of the schools that are going to continue to lose people to this sort of factionalization, or the democratization of players all across the country, where the talent pool is spread more thinly because of money. LSU is positioned to like hang on to dudes who have funky French last names, right? Arguably more so than a lot of other schools are,
yeah,
because
that's
it like
very talent-rich state, and they have a lot of connections to the school. So yeah, there are already these advantages that are built in.
But here comes Brian Kelly, right there in the middle of the bell curve in terms of a coach, and you're paying $10 million a year for him or whatever you're paying, and he's supposed to be this great dude. He's going to get you a national title, and what does he do in a moment of panic? He starts blaming the media.
Yeah.
And what's frustrating to me is that it will fucking work. Right? Like, because this is what they eat it up.
Right.
They're like, yeah, media fucking sucks. And what do? They rabidly consume the media all of the time. But they love to hate it as well.
I don't know that it'll work for him.
Yeah, it's interesting that he was so quick to apologize. You think, if he was doing this just to kind of like rile up his locker room, to say like, look, I'm doing this for you guys or whatever, like he would kind of be obnoxious and double down. But for him to apologize, he just kind of lost his cool, and it was such a nothing question. It was so weird that he would react in such a way. Like sometimes, like especially after a loss or like a brutal loss, like some kid, some 19-year-old that you're riding on shanks the ball, and now you have to like answer, field these questions. That's one thing, but for you to win,
that's why I'm just like, I think, how would Kirby Smart have answered that?
Yeah,
and it would have been better.
Yeah, well, Kirby is never shy about. I think Kirby wants to talk about how we fucked up right away. Like it's his favorite thing to talk about.
But also, when we fucked up, he will quickly say, he will sound like he's defending the players and admitting that sucked, and sounding like a nice, reasonable person who cares and expects better.
Right.
He's never a cranky pants.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's going great down there.
Which is weird. They were number 3 in the
Rouge.
country, if not higher. Like you should be. I mean, yeah, you would want to win more comfortably against the Florida
What's
team
funny
that played.
is that they're number 3 in the country, and Tennessee stays 15, Georgia stays 5, or moves back up to 5, and all of the talk that I heard coming out of this weekend was, well, you just wouldn't be surprised if you saw Georgia and Tennessee in that SEC championship game at the end of like they're 3, but there's no talk about how like LSU is about to be this dominant force coming out of the SEC.
Right.
All right. Other games include Miami with a trouncing of South Florida and their Eastern Ukrainian garage electric engineer of a head coach.
That spread was not high enough, as it turns out.
That's right. A 49-12 is the final there. Let's see what else before we get to the Georgia game.
Notre Dame losing at the very end with that fourth and goal, right? Like go ahead touchdown by Texas A&M.
And the only reason that it was possible to make that a go-ahead touchdown is because of a missed extra point.
Right. That's right. Yes. Just
opening the door just a crack. Notre Dame now 0-2. This is a weird mirror or distorted mirror on their start last year. Last year they played Texas A&M in the opening game of the season and won a close game against Texas A&M on the road, and then turn around the next week and lose to Northern Illinois. And the question at that point was, did Notre Dame just end their playoff chances? And as I recall,
I do remember.
we said probably not. But
The rest of their schedule was so easy.
because the rest of the schedule was pretty easy, and there were if they could win most of the other games on that schedule, their resume would still be quite good.
Right.
This year, Notre Dame now 0-2 with losses against what seems to be a quite good Miami team and Texas A&M again, which is obviously much improved over the version of the team that they played last year. But again, like a game that they could have or should have won, but for a botched extra point there. Certainly a great game by their running back, the Love kid. Had a big-time game. But is Notre Dame now, after an 0-2 start, are they eliminated from the playoff conversation 2 weeks in?
I mean, they're barely hanging on to the top 25, but the only other ranked opponent they have the rest of the way, as it stands now, is USC, and everything else is just like very winnable games. I don't know how good Pittsburgh is, but
they lost.
yeah. So like I don't know, like it doesn't look promising. I think like last year they maybe, obviously they went all the way to the finals, but I don't know, 2 losses to start the year, and then you don't really have much to make.
Here's what I see as you're identifying, I think, something accurate, which is that they don't have the schedule that they had last year to show that like whatever happened then, like we have cleaned that up and everything's going to be fine now.
Right.
Like you said, it's USC, and who knows what USC actually is as of right now. And then, Pitt, Stanford, Syracuse, those are not very good football teams. The bigger issue, like assuming that they beat NC State, assuming that Boise State is pretty good, but they handle Boise State, assuming that USC is a pretty good team, but they beat that team, they get to the end of the year with 2 losses. What if Miami doesn't win the ACC and is a cuspy playoff team? What if Texas A&M doesn't win the SEC and is a cuspy playoff team? Right. You've just lost to 2 of your most important potential hurdles to getting into the playoff yourself, right? Like it seems like you have set yourself up to be the team that is on the outside looking in because of the 2 losses that you've just suffered here right at the very beginning.
Now, if you're a Notre Dame homer, you would argue 3-point loss, 1-point loss to like 2 good teams. If you play if you win the rest of the schedule pretty in dominant fashion, you'll say, okay, come on, it's a missed extra point away from overtime, a 3-point loss to begin.
Yeah, but you're going to go with the team that beat you, right? They're going to go with the team that beat you if that's what it comes down to, even if Miami ends up with a loss or 2 on their schedule, or A&M ends up with another loss or 2 on their schedule.
No, that's true. Yeah, basically, it's hard to see them. They would need Miami to be the ACC champ, and then Texas A&M to at least be like in the title game,
right?
For them to.
Yeah, they need other things to happen,
yeah.
which sucks for them.
And they also, obviously, they need to run the table going forward. They can't lose anymore.
Right. All right, and then what else did we have this weekend? Vandy handled South Carolina.
Oh yeah, what? So I missed some of the games. I went back to watch it. It did not appear to be like a very vicious hit that concussed the Heisman winner.
It doesn't take a vicious hit.
It was helmet to helmet, obviously, but like I was surprised that that's what caused the concussion.
I mean, you just never know, right? You see these monster hits, and these guys get look like they got run over by a steamroller and they pop right back up and they're totally fucking fine or seemingly fine.
And I mean,
Anyway,
like,
and then
yeah,
just a slightly weird angle
Yeah.
that doesn't look that bad, and they're toast.
right. And it's not like he was doing all that great before that. I mean, this happened like in the second quarter, but like Vandy's not too bad.
Yeah, Vandy's looked good. 3-0 for the first time in quite a long time.
Do they take credit for the firing of the Virginia Tech coach?
They can take partial.
They can
Both
take
those
at
teams
least.
Can take
they can
credit.
take 1/3 credit
Well,
for that.
I think that not Notre Dame. What the hell? Old Dominion gets most of the credit for that.
ODU blew out Virginia Tech this weekend. And yeah, does Shan Beamer end up going
Probably
home
doesn't.
to Virginia Tech,
I mean,
or is South Carolina legitimately just a better job?
It's a way better job.
Yeah, it's probably a better job, and like he's kind of built his own thing there. Like you don't want to be in the shadow of your old men, at Tech, Virginia Tech. So like, why not just stay there? Like when the Alabama job opened up, there was all this talk about Dabo going to Alabama because he's from there and blah blah blah. But he's built a thing at Clemson, so like, why would you go somewhere else? Like he's a made man at Clemson. Shane could be a guy down.
I wonder if UCLA and Virginia Tech should just switch coach, just do a coach swap.
Oh.
See what happens.
I don't think those guys are going to be head coaches again next season at this
It
level.
would just be interesting.
Has that ever happened? Like, could two schools trade
No.
for like transfer portal, like they did with the quarterback? Like, they'll come here and you go there.
Vanderbilt has Georgia State and then Utah State before heading to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama.
Ooh.
They're going to be 5-0
Well,
going into their game against Alabama. It would be awfully good if Vanderbilt went to Tuscaloosa and won.
holy
You would see a storming of the field in Alabama
That is a
if that happened. Except it would be the Alabama
Don't think that you
people
would.
That-
doing violences.
that stretch of games starting with Alabama though. Holy shit! They got
Alabama, LSU, Mizzou, Texas, Auburn, and then Kentucky, and then Tennessee. There's not a pleasant
holy shit.
last 7 games of the season.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing they're getting their wins early.
If we were less charitable towards Vanderbilt than I'm currently feeling, you would immediately say what we have here is probably 2 wins, right? So they'll be 5-0 going into
Yes.
Alabama. Loss in Tuscaloosa, loss at home to LSU, likely loss against Mizzou. Like, I mean, at
I
best
don't know. They almost beat them last year when they had a better quarterback.
loss to
Well,
Texas
maybe
on the road.
You hear
would
about that? Jittery Arch.
I'm just saying if I'm thinking about this in a pre-Pavia mindset.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're not.
You're not going to beat Texas, not going to beat Auburn, and then you've got coin flip against Kentucky probably, and then against the rival in Tennessee that you'd definitely be the underdog in. You'd say 5-0. You'd still be nervous about saying this is a team that's going bowling this year.
I mean, if they have 5 games before they get into this the tough part of their schedule, they'll be able to win a couple more. They can at least get to 7 games, at least 7. Kentucky being one of them.
South Carolina, less to worry about now than we thought that they were at the beginning of the season, right?
Yes.
Like with Lenoris being injured and on top of not being particularly world-beating
Right.
at the start of the year.
Very slow start for my boy.
Yeah. Let's see. Oklahoma handles Temple. Don't learn much there. Arkansas and Ole Miss
That
get
was
into a classic this rivalry kind of shootout. This is the sort of game that has happened many times between these two schools. I was convinced that this was the year that Ole Miss was just going to put it on them. And once again, Lance Kiffin fucked me. He's always fucking me.
You should stop.
I have to
betting
stop
on
betting
him.
on Lance Kiffin games.
You'll never learn.
I don't find out until he's already done it.
Okay.
Like we're having a nice night, and then all of a sudden he starts looking at his phone, at the numbers, and he's like, "Fucking Lance! Like, did you?"
How many parlays has Lance ruined for me in the
I
last few
don't
years?
know.
And it's most of them. But I always look at that Ole Miss line. I'm like, yeah, Lance will do it.
Yeah.
This is how he keeps getting back with like his ex-wife. I think there's something about him.
Oh yeah.
He just has that natural draw. Some of us can't avoid him. Alabama, as somebody mentioned earlier, handled Wisconsin with no drama. Let's see. Was there any
Tulane.
Would Tulane beat Duke or something? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were you surprised to see that 2 major college head coaches got fired already here 3 weeks into the season?
Yes. I mean, like, at least in the NFL, they wait until the bye week or some, a good time in the schedule to get rid of people. But it seems like, I mean, with the Virginia Tech situation, there was a lot of talk early. Like, I think last week and maybe the week before, there was like, should they move on from him? Because, like, you're looking back the last few years, he really hasn't improved the program. What's weird is Virginia Tech used to be, like, a dominant team. They used to be always in the top 25.
Yeah, it used to be a real program.
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
No.
That fucking guy in that bar in D.C. said to my face, "Oh, we're rivals." And I said, "No, we're not." He said, "Well, we're on the same. We're like both, we were contenders." And I said, "No, we're not." And ever since then, they've sucked. So they have that guy to thank.
Lori did it.
I didn't do it. That guy did it.
Yeah.
I saw that Mike Vick would be interested in the job if it was offered to him. And I said, you think? Also, I think it was one of the headlines I saw was framed as Virginia Tech needs a new football CEO in the style of like what Andrew Luck has done
At Stanford.
out there in Stanford. And it was very amusing to me to think, because what do you hear about Andrew Luck? Very cerebral, right? Like he's got some sort of advanced mathematics degree from fucking Stanford,
And also
right?
just
Like
to hear him talk, just let him just talk for a while. You're like, okay, this guy's like a nerdy sort.
Right, like knows stuff and not just like football, but like knows how stuff works and that sort of thing, yeah. And then on the other hand, Virginia Tech looking for a CEO a la Andrew Luck to run its football program. They're going to go with Mike Vick. And I'm not trying to be rude here.
Mike Vick would be better suited. What is the role that they made for McConaughey over at Tech, the Ministry of Culture or something like that?
Yeah.
He could be that, for Pod Tech.
I don't think you want Michael Vick to be the Ministry of Culture.
Yeah.
He's
I'd rather have him coach.
Turned a corner.
I'd rather have him coach.
Bad News Kennels.
He's good at coach.
Oh, come on, that was a long time ago. He didn't do the dog stuff anymore. He learned.
Sure, but just have him coach. I bet he's good at coach.
Isn't he like doing mediocre at whatever place he's at?
He's brand new coach at Norfolk State or something.
Anyway, let's move on to the dogs here. Abe, you didn't believe
I did not.
in my boy Grunter, with good reason. I was not a believer either. I was not a disbeliever. I just had not yet been convinced that Grunter was the way to go.
That first play was great.
The first play?
Our first play.
Yeah. Although
just here are my balls and just here.
Yeah.
It made me feel better, even though I hate football during those games.
Yeah, you're referring to the fact that we threw a long one on the first play from scrimmage.
A successful one.
I will say, could have been a better throw. If it had been a slightly better throw, it probably goes for 6 instead of just a long score. But that's fine. Not gonna nitpick here. That first quarter was
Holy shit.
Aside from a fun first play from scrimmage for the Dogs, a disaster.
I'm like, man, this Tennessee team can be stopped. Everything just was easy for them that first quarter.
So easy. That first, especially, so even if you throw away the 75-yarder, because, like, whatever, that sort of stupid shit happens. But, like, that first scripted drive where it just seemed like every single throw that he made was to a receiver who didn't have anyone within 3 to 5 yards of him.
Yeah,
like
not on camera.
At best, it seemed like there was always someone wide the fuck open.
Yeah.
And like it's one thing to have a dude being incredibly accurate, and like I think he started 14 of 14 or something like that. But these were not any of them were they not contested throws.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Like he just had the time to then deliver it to a wide open receiver like 14 times in a row.
Right.
Or it's like 12 out of 14 times, let's say. Like it was just that easy. And that was the terrifying thing.
Yeah.
Not like, okay, the breaks happen in one direction or another and they got lucky. No, this was, holy shit. Why is the JV squad out there on the Georgia defense?
Right.
Like, what are they doing that is so impossible for us to figure out that we're not even involved in making anything good happen?
Right.
And it's like, how do you even fix that from here?
And yet-
I don't know what the fuck changed.
In the second quarter, they shut him out. Basically, they had a pretty quiet second quarter. I think they may have scored like late in the third. But basically, there was a good chunk of the game where things kind of settled down for Georgia's defense.
You know when that chunk was? The crucial middle 8. Kirby's always on about.
Okay. Because, yeah, I mean,
The
it seemed
middle
like...
8, the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half.
Okay.
It's some amazing statistic about how, like, if you can win those middle 8 minutes, you probably win the game.
Aguilar was fairly awesome, I think it's fair to say. And certainly
Aguilar.
Could you keep track of
Not
all the
Aguilar.
schools he went to? Like, you know, Kirk and the other, they were talking about, like, how he was here and then there. Like, I just could not keep up with... This guy went to, like, 6 schools?
Yeah. You know what's funny about even keeping track of anything that Kirk and Chris Fowler are saying is that there's something about that broadcast in particular that that middle vocal channel on your, like our sound bar is way softer than in the mix than the crowd noise mics.
You can hear mostly crowd noise.
So we hear
That's
overwhelmingly for that game in particular, wherever that Chris Fowler and Kirk are for the weekend, the sound mix is all wrong, and it's kind of fun.
It's nice,
like but it does get annoying at times, because occasionally I do want to hear specifically what they're saying.
What just happened?
Do you think that's a
And
choice that the production team makes, or is this a mistake? Because, I mean,
No.
if this happens more than once, then somebody's got to be aware of it. There's no feedback meeting on Monday, like the production team. Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't happen when we're watching the other games. Like on the other broadcasts, the voice channel is front and center, and we're hearing that overwhelmingly so. But for some reason, on that game in particular, I don't know if it's just us or if it's happening with other people too. But yeah, anyway, they also kept showing Aguilar's family there at the.
They did at the beginning.
When he
they
was
backed off
when he
as
was
the
so
game
hot,
went on.
Yeah.
and I was getting mad. Like as the game wore on, it's like, give me a shot of Mommy Aguilar now that he's just thrown a terrible pick.
With that,
I'm glad that they
I
didn't.
want the agony and the ecstasy here. If we're gonna give me the true reportage from the scene, if you're gonna insist on showing parents all the time.
You know, as far as the camera selection, like near the end of the game, the camera found a Tennessee fan. You know, and they just kept on
Yeah,
cutting
they focused on
back
that
to
guy.
that poor guy.
I thought for sure, like when they kept going back to him, I was like, because this is when we were realizing that this was going to come down to a kick.
Yes.
Right, like as the game
Yeah.
is ending, and because they devoted so much time to Familia d'Aguilar at the beginning of the game, I thought maybe this is somehow the family of the fucking child kicker that they're about to run out there. And it's like, no, this is just a Tennessee
Just a
fan
guy.
with
just a guy with a good face.
An
Just had a
expressive
very
face.
expressive face. He's like worried because like
A
it was
sad
taking
tech fan Tyler.
I think Kirk made like a reaction, and I guess the production team. Oh yeah, let's go back to that. Like Kirk likes the face, like, and they just kept on going back to that poor guy.
Also, what a game! That was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a terrible game.
What was it?
in many ways, but purely as an entertainment
viewer.
product for 3.5 or 4 hours, it
God,
was
I
pretty
wish I
spectacular.
didn't care about Georgia. I would have had a
Were
blast.
you nervous, Lori? Like at the end when it's
I was miserable.
okay, 'cause
Though at the end, if we're going to talk about me and my feelings, it was very much like we're at the end of a football game. Someone is going to lose. Someone is going to win. What a game. You know, like you can't be too sad about losing that.
yeah.
I'm glad we didn't. That's cool.
They,
But Kirby's post game, are you pulling that up right now?
No, I was
Not the sideline, but in the press conference. I mean, he was like if you didn't know what happened and you looked at his body language, you would have been like, "Oh, they lost," because he was like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry we won. Sorry to those Tennessee fans that we won. That's football.
Yeah,
proud of my guys. They fought hard." Yeah.
Didn't he basically say like Tennessee should have won that one?
He said yes.
He said they deserve to win.
Deserve to win.
Which I don't know about deserves in this particular case, as I mentioned earlier. Not sure what deserves got to do with it, but probably Tennessee. Like they certainly could have won if that bum ass
both
kicker
teams deserved to win
had
that
put
game.
it through the uprights.
Did you guys sense that he was nervous? Because like somebody, like I was reading online, they're like, it looked like he was having a panic attack because they kept on cutting back to the kicker practicing on the side. And I was like, he just seemed like a kid waiting to get kicked.
He just looked like
whatever.
Like a kicker to me.
Yeah.
Nothing in particular.
Yeah, it didn't seem like, oh boy, I hope I don't have to make this. Also, was there like a penalty? There was like a 5 yards lost. And I don't think that
There was.
It probably wouldn't have made a difference, right? It wouldn't, because he shanked that.
Well, it makes a difference because it's a different,
Yeah.
it's a different series of fucking atoms and molecules that are in the way. Like everything makes a difference, which is why Josh Heupel calling that timeout is absolutely causally responsible for the missing of that kick.
And the kid makes like an almost identical kick in overtime, right? Like
oh yeah,
so it's like
same spot on the field.
Yeah, so basically So I guess he could have made that one.
Yeah, and Tennessee would have won if they'd scored a touchdown, maybe in overtime, but they couldn't, and that's why you can't feel too bad about it.
Yeah, Stockton made the throw of his life on that fourth down.
Fourth down. Holy hell! What a throw! What a catch!
Great catch, great throw. There was a lot of great catches and great throws in this game. Like I said, I thought Stockton had a great game. I did want to go to the interview that he gave at the end of the game to ESPN sideline reporter, who's this, Holly Rowe?
Yeah.
Like
First SEC road game, and it's a win. How satisfying is this?
Stop.
How do you describe your running backs and the physicality of your line today? They win this game in overtime.
Stop.
That's Grunter Stockman on the field after the game.
No, they can't all be Stetson Bennett. They'll never be again Stetson Bennett.
Questions about Grunter, I think, have been sufficiently answered. He is a capable quarterback, able to make the necessary throws. I still, this is not fair because now I'll compare him to an NFL quarterback. Watching Michael Penix's highlights this weekend, or even watching some of that game, was that last night? It was a Sunday night game, right? Vikings Falcons. I was watching that game last night, and watching Penix appear to be dead to rights, nearly wrapped up in a sack, not throwing the ball yet, making no motion in the direction of throwing the ball, and then all of a sudden the ball is exploding out of his left hand 30 yards down the field. Like his ability to go from not throwing the ball to having thrown the ball it's just so fucking fast.
He's very fast.
And when I saw him at Washington, like it was why I was so high on him. Just watching him play football in college. It's because when he throws the ball, it just happens, and it happens fast. And as long as he's making the right read and making the right decisions, good things are going to happen. Grunter can make all of the right reads, make all of the right decisions, and because he takes that ball from center mass and it makes this big stupid loop all the way around his body, and he's just very slow to get the ball off, like he's not a next level quarterback. He's barely a top college quarterback at this point, right? Like he barely can get it done at this point.
That long windup is likely going to result in. I mean, Carson Beck kind of got that. Like I guess what was it, the Texas game? Like it's just sometimes you have to get the ball.
It happened to him already.
Yeah, it's just like I think he may get into that situation where it'll be like a strip sack situation.
No, he did in this game.
Yeah,
but bottom line is it's a pretty good Tennessee defense, presumably. I mean, it's hard to say that after the display that they put on.
I think the over-under was like 49.5, and Georgia was like 5 points shy of that by themselves. It was I was not expecting that, even though I said like I have no idea what to expect in this game. That was a lot of points on both sides.
Yeah. I forget what I said was the thing that I would least expect, but
I think it was like a
lot of
Tennessee
people-
blowout was the one that you were.
Tennessee blowout, sure. A lot of people would have said what you don't expect is Tennessee scores 41 points at home and loses the football game, especially after what you had seen Georgia do against Austin Peay the week before, which is kind of struggle offensively. Right? Like, it's not like we scored 44 points because we had 3 defensive scores or like 2 defensive touchdowns and a special teams run back or something like that. Like, this was the offense that put up 44 fucking points.
There was.
And it's why I'll never fucking believe Kirby Smart or anyone when it's like, oh no, we're not holding back against these high school teams. We're trying as hard as we can to win against Austin Peay.
Right.
Like, no, you're not. You're fucking lying.
There was some stat that was floating around online. I can't find it right now. Where like when Kirby Smart has a team that's in a shootout, the record is very good. Like if they are in the high 30s, 40s, like they usually eke out a win in those situations.
Which is not how it ever felt before, right? Like this is not the sort of game. I can only compare it to Mark Richt era football because that's all else that I have known. But it's not the sort of game that the old Georgia wins.
Right.
I think he's just a really good in-game coach, and he's a much better in-game coach than he was 10 years ago. Like, his biggest problem 10 years ago was he was a fucking maniac. All right, that's college football. Anything of note from the pros besides that Giants-Cowboys fiasco in which Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott traded like 50 and 60-yard touchdowns for the entire fourth quarter? I think there's 6 lead changes in the fourth quarter of that game.
Crazy finish. So like the Falcons, they had Younghoe Koo who shanked the ball week 1 against the Tampa, and then I think he was out because of injury, and they bring in some random kicker, and he makes like all the kicks. Like I think he got 5 field goals or whatever. Like sometimes it's just good to bring a new kicker because it's all mental, and so once these guys miss 1 or 2, like it just kind of gets in their head. You need to.
I heard on the Biffler, like you have a very cutthroat approach to if you were the general manager of a football team, you miss one shank and you're out. And Abe's like, just find me somebody off the street and see if they can do it. And if they can do it, they'll probably do it for 6 months.
You and Pat McAfee.
And then when you can't do it anymore, we'll find somebody else.
It's because it didn't matter. Like, I don't even know who. Some guy named Romo who was kicking for the Falcons last night. He made you just bring in anybody who's like a kicker. And then as soon as they go sideways, you got to get rid of them. Don't ever think like, oh, he's done so much for us. That's what do they call it? Sunk cost. Like, I don't care what he did for me yesterday, but we'll talk about it in the future. Like, if you can't make kicks right now, you're gonna cost the team wins. So you got to get rid of them. Like that kid that they got with the Cowboys, he can make a kick from anywhere. Aubrey, what's his face? Like, if you have a good kicker, you're gonna make it far.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah, and so like you just as soon as a kicker goes sideways, you need to get rid of them. Also, it's concerning on the NFL side. So many injuries. Like they're just. I mean, Purdy is out. Burrow is out for like 3 months. J.J. McCarthy is going to be out. Fields, I think, has a concussion. There's just so many quarterbacks.
J.J. McCarthy just got back.
Getting hurt.
McCarthy hurt his toe or something. He's going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, so he'll be out for a couple of weeks. And also, like I said, with you need to shuffle your kickers. Sometimes change in scenery works for quarterbacks too. Baker Mayfield bounced around a lot until he found a home in Tampa. Daniel Jones seems to be doing okay here with Indy. Here, as if I lived there. Darnold is doing okay with, I think there's something about like if it doesn't work one place, it doesn't mean that you're no good. It just the fit wasn't right. So like if you give these quarterbacks who aren't making it work in one team, just have them go somewhere else.
Speaking of quarterbacks out there in the world, dangerous.
It's already 9
I
o'clock.
know, dangerous Wilson though. Awesome game. He just kept chucking it up there.
I think it's mostly that neighbor's kid. That guy can catch anything. Just throw something in the air, and he will find a way to catch it.
It was really funny. I didn't watch the game. I was busy with baseball all day, more so than usual even. And I was watching the highlights, and I'm watching Wilson just absolutely chunk it to the moon for no good reason, and then good things happen. I was like, all right, that's fun, but like that is not a sustainable way to play football. And then he throws a pick on like an identical, like just chunk it to the moon and hope for good things to happen kind of plays. It's like, yeah, that's more like it. But maybe with all of the injuries out there, this has been the Giants' plan all along, right? You've got Russ Wilson. You've still got Jackson Dart waiting in the wings. Yeah. And then as a backup, you've still got the E-to-W creepo, Jameis Winston, hanging out. You can move Russell Wilson potentially for some draft capital at this point, you would think, and get on with it. The sooner the better, in my opinion. All right, we should move on here and recap our various things. Lori, why don't you update the fine folks on the quarterback situation?
Because they don't care, and it's late. Bob's in the lead.
That's all we needed to hear. That's fine.
Abe's losing.
Oh, yeah, losing steam. Don't worry, it's early days.
Yeah.
What's the rest of the quarterback room look like down there in Columbia, South Carolina?
I don't know.
Doty.
I pinned all my hopes.
Doty.
All right, it occurs to me now that I did not go through and do the math on how everybody did on the CIB 2025 football pick'em contest. So let's quickly go through this. All right, I've done all of the very difficult maths here. Abe, you add 15 points to your running total to get you to 40,
hip, hip.
Which ties you with me. I added 20 to get to 40. Lori adds 30 points this week to storm into the lead with 50 total points.
Over the top.
And
look at that.
cousin Steve has a solid week himself with 4 out of 5 games picked correctly, 25 points, but remains in the caboose with 37 total points. Cousin Steve, try not to score any more points on your way through the parking lot with those 37 points of yours. Abe, you live bet the games last week. You lost. You picked the Bears or something. I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
Didn't I lose a volleyball game too? The previous.
I think you lost the volleyball game as well. Not doing great. Jimmy Carter nailed his lock of the week. He had the Aggies plus the points. Could have taken the money line there, Jimmy. That would have helped things out in terms of the old balance book. So Jimmy's on the board on the plus side of the column finally. Quick correction here. Careful listeners of the show who listen carefully, then I write it, I guess, will remember that Jimmy was actually on the other side of this, laid 6.5 points, so he does not get on the board and is still 0 on the season. Abe, it's now time for you to live bet the games. As I mentioned earlier, we have a Monday night doubleheader tonight. The Bucs are still leading the Texans 14-10 here late in the third quarter. But the next game, which kicks off, I think, at 10 o'clock, 7 o'clock West Coast time, Chargers at the Raiders, minus 3.5 points for the Chargers. These are both 1-0 teams with some high hopes for this year. Who you got, Abe?
Never doubt a Harbaugh-led Chargers team. Chargers
laying the points, I'm assuming. Did I freeze?
Oh, Abe froze.
Uh-oh.
You're fine.
I'm fine.
He froze happy.
There he is. Now he's back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Little internet snafu. I got the Chargers. I don't know if you caught that.
I caught the Chargers. I wasn't sure if you wanted the money line or lay the points, but I went ahead and laid the points to maximize my
There you go.
return here. So hopefully the Chargers come through.
No birthday joy for Pete Carroll, and the Chargers all smiles.
Once again, maintaining an incredible subsistence gambling so far this season. Haven't hit much. I've hit none of my parlays, even my can't fuck this up 2 or 3 game parlays. Haven't hit any of those. But reliably, I throw 10 or 20 bucks on a game that I think I know the outcome of. Make a little bit of money. Keep my head above water. You've been listening to Cast Iron Balls, a podcast about sports with Bob and Abe. Lori's here too. You can check out the show on Substack, brainiron.substack.com for more from us. Most of the rest of the more from us isn't nearly as fun, probably.
Oh, that's not true.
The sports
The
stuff.
music one is fun.
Yeah, the music one is fun.
We just haven't been doing that.
We took 1 week off from the music show. Brainiron.substack.com for that. The opening and closing themes of the show were composed by Mark Gillig, tetramermusic.com, Tetramer music.com. For more from Mark. Abe, anything else in the world of sport strike your fancy this week?
Yeah, so this has to do with a referee from the ACC. This dates back to a game, not this past weekend, but the one prior to that, UConn-Syracuse. An ACC ref, Gary Patterson, just tendered his resignation after some controversy during that game that I did not notice when it happened. But apparently he got a call from the review booth. Like, you know, these referees on the ground have, like, the communication systems with the review people. And sometimes they'll want you to review a previous play. And I guess this did not happen fast enough because the next play happened before the referees on the ground realized that they should have reviewed the previous play. This particular guy, Gary, did not like the fact that this happened. Like, they were kind of usurping his authority, that they were meddling into the game. Because
Did they say the previous play does not count because we're going back in time?
Yeah, that's what happened. So basically, like,
That's completely unacceptable. I am with the official who has resigned in protest.
We also never talked about how awesome the letting us listen to the booth review conversation is.
yeah, because
Yeah, have you watched any
It is
ACC
awesome.
games? Because the ACC is doing this thing where they show you a live feed from ACC review headquarters or whatever.
for certain games, like for instance, the Georgia Tech Clemson game had some of that, but it's not for.
Yeah, they all do, I think.
Well,
no?
because this game they did not. So like the ACC command center like buzzed for a review. So like a play happened, it was an incomplete pass, but I guess they were trying to see if it was like a. I forget what the circumstances were, but they weren't satisfied with the ruling on the field. So, like, incomplete pass, they move on to the next play. The next play, there was a penalty. And they say, whoa, that play never happened. We need to go back to the previous play. And they review it, and they were like, no, we were right from the first, from the get-go. So, basically, like, they went back for no reason. A penalty was missed. And apparently the rule book states that if there's a personal foul in a dead situation, you're supposed to still count it, but they didn't. Like it was some weird thing.
The penalty was a personal foul, and they said that play didn't happen, and therefore the behavior itself did not happen.
It's as if it never happened, yes. So they, went on. I think it was like an overtime game. Everything proceeded, and then for whatever reason, Patterson, according to the article, he felt that the league's replay officials overstepped by interfering in a game that wasn't part of the ACC's command center program. Again, I don't know why that happened. Like, I don't know why ACC, are they just watching all the games? They're like, hey, this is interesting. Let's buzz into this random game.
I mean, command center, you'd think they would
Yeah.
be.
And instead of just resolving it, I don't understand why this person would just resign. Why not just say, file some complaint?
The system is fucked, and I cannot morally
I want to resign from my job.
participate in it any longer. Good for this guy.
Yeah, so he's like, fuck it, I'm gone. And so off he goes.
The idea that somehow you can just wipe something off of remove the consequences of the thing that just happened it speaks to me, because in our game this weekend, Calvin's team, we had a moment where there was a dropped. So picture this, right? It's a Little League game. We're kind of winning fairly handily, but it's a Little League, so you never really know. Things can get out of hand in the wrong direction very, very quickly. To wit, the bases were loaded with nobody out. My pitcher, who I had just put in the third inning, had plunked 2 out of the first 3 batters that he was facing, and things were not looking great. But then he strikes out the batter who's up to record the first out of the inning. Good news. The bad news is that it was not a clean swing and miss and then catch by my catcher. Instead, my catcher dropped the ball. So it's a dropped third strike. And, of course, A thing about being 10, 11, 12 years old is that you're only just now figuring out this rule, right? A dropped third strike means
You
that
have to be like, go, run, go.
you can go to first base if, crucially, first base is not currently occupied. Right? Like a drop third strike means that the runner is not yet out because of a funny quirk in baseball where an out kind of can't be recorded unless a ball finishes in someone's glove, right? Like that's sort of the fundamental constitutional concept at play here, is that an out cannot be recorded unless the ball is in the possession of someone, right? In this case, the catcher. And so the catcher did not cleanly field the ball, but because the runner has nowhere to go, he's out anyway, right? So a drop third strike with first base occupied and less than 2 outs means that the batter does not become a batter runner. The batter is just out. This kid did not realize this. And so he took off for first base with the bases loaded, which resulted in my catcher picking up the ball and throwing to first base, which he should not have done because the batter runner is not in existence. Right. He's just out. Right? But and it's a dangerous play because, again, it's Little League, and a simple throw from home plate to first base, though relatively easy for my team, can be somewhat fraught with danger, right? That ball ends up in right field a significant portion of the time.
So at the time that the ball is thrown to first base, all the bases are accounted for except for home. So somebody could run home.
And so the runners on base, and importantly, this is a live ball situation, right? The runners on base can do whatever they want. They can advance at their peril because in Little League, the only rule is you can't leave the base until the ball crosses the plate. So the ball has crossed the plate. It's a live ball. They are free to advance at their peril. The kid who's on first base sees that the guy has taken off for first base and runs to second base, abandoning his safe position on the bag. And I say to Calvin, because I'm standing there 10 feet from the bag, don't throw it. Just walk to second base and tag him out. Because as long as the merry-go-round doesn't start, we're going to be just fine. Right?
And at that point, the second base and the third base, no movement there.
No movement there, right? And so the kid who's running towards second base is yelling at the kid on second to go, go, go. And he's not. He's just standing there. So Calvin gets down there within 4 or 5 feet of second base and just puts the tag on him. And now the other coach is like freaking out. He's yelling and screaming. The umpire is like trying to rewind things back because he's trying to say the batter is out, right? Et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, yeah, I know the batter is out, but so too is this kid. This is a live ball situation. Right. And the coach for the other team is like trying to paint me as the asshole.
Don't be a stickler for the rules, Bob. Is that
right? Like, what do you think? I thought this was fall ball. I thought we were trying to, teach the kids something here. I'm like,
we are.
Teaching them not to do this.
Rules. Are you kidding me? Like, we're going to just pretend like everything that just happened didn't happen because your team failed to abide by like a live ball. Right. Means a dangerous situation for you. Like, I know it's a confusing thing, but like if we're going to teach them anything, we're going to teach them the correct way to play the game, the basic rules of baseball, right?
Did the umpire see it your way or the other way?
Yes. I calmly explained that no. This is a live ball situation. The batter was out immediately. Yeah. The fact that the batter caused confusion for everyone else, including my own players, resulting in a potentially chaotic and bad situation for my team, right? Because if my player stands up and my catcher chucks the ball over Calvin's head at first base and it goes into right field, you think that those 2 runs aren't fucking scoring? Right. Maybe all 3 of them? Aren't like, and what am I supposed to be like? Hey, this isn't fair. What is it? I thought this was fall ball. Aren't we trying to teach the kids? Like, because I know with 100% certainty that the result would be 3 runs for the bad guys, right? It would be 3 runs for the other team in this scenario. So, like, get the fuck out of here with your sanctimonious. I thought we were trying to teach them how to play the game the right way, kind of stuff. And somehow I'm the asshole here. No. We're gonna
Also, the game was well in hand.
Yeah, sure. We won the game handily, which is all well and good.
Stella knew it was.
Was there any sort of issue at the end of the game when you interact with the other team?
No, just a smile and a good game, and I did avoid, like, I did not go out of my way to put a bow on it or anything.
But
afterwards.
you don't do that with this guy anyway.
No.
Just let him
stew.
Yeah.
Let him do his thing.
Some people need other people to be an asshole, and usually that person is secretly the asshole. Anyway, I mean, it's fine. It's just something that consistently drives me crazy is this sort of sanctimonious passive aggression of, you're just really being a jerk here when you try to abide by the rules that we all have to play by, knowing full well that if in that moment my catcher had thrown the ball over my first baseman's head, the shoe would have been on the other foot. Anyway, Lori, anything strike your fancy in the world of sport?
No.
No? We've talked about it all.
We've talked about enough.
That's certainly true. Hey, have you got anything else for us tonight?
Nope.
Well, I guess that's all we've got for you tonight then, and we'll talk to you next time.
Later.
The proceeding was created with 100% human content.